Okay, welcome back everyone to episode number 4 of the Breaking ROX podcast. Obviously, with my co-host Jake here, and we've got our first external guests from Airland Logistics. Over to my right, we have Vinny, and on my left, we have Sarah. So thanks a lot, guys, for being a part of it in this early days of our podcast. I really appreciate it.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Why don't we start with some sort of introductions from both of you? Let everyone know who you are, who Airland Logistics is, and sort of what your guys' roles are.
Okay. I'm Sarah, and I'm the Client Services Executive at Airland. We're a freight forwarding company, and we specialise in mining logistics, and we're based in Burgoon.
Yeah, cool.
My name is Vinny. Been with Airland the second time round now, so just 6 months this time. I did a 5-year stint before with Tony. So yeah, as Sarah said, international logistics, dabbling a little bit of project work as well. And that's sort of anywhere from mining supply companies, EPCMs, the mine directly, all the way through. So
Yep.
we've been doing it for about nearly 5 decades now. So established in 75, out of Denmark being head office.
Yep.
And then Tony sort of joined the Airland family maybe about 25 years ago, opened an Australian office, and now we're in Australia, Denmark, South Africa, and Canada. So more sort of strategically aligned with all the mining hotspots.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. And sort of what's the sort of, I guess, the main challenges that you guys face, and sort of how does Airland solve those?
More sort of, I suppose, clients' needs, right? That's sort of what it boils down to for us. Mining's quite a unique sort of sector. Comes with a lot of challenges because invariably you're in remote areas. So that's our number one challenge, is getting into those remote areas, building the right networks with trusted partners, so we can do the job correctly. And then it sort of, depends on what type of movements we're actually doing, whether we're dealing with EPCMs from the beginning when they're constructing the mine, and what that sort of looks like, chartering vessels, chartering aircraft, that type of thing. And then you sort of work your way through to working with the mine directly once they're in production phase, and then it's the sort of the daily consumables that roll through from there. So the challenges of getting them into landlocked countries and moving them, either from out of ships onto road, onto rail sometimes, and then to get them to the end location. So really dictated by what the client's requirements are initially. And then we've got a whole bunch of people with about 30 to 40 years experience in the game, and all these sort of remote locations all throughout Africa, Southeast Asia, Mongolia, those type of sort of climates. And it's really past experience that sort of is the main catalyst for the drive. It sort of enables you to problem solve. It's a different challenge every time. Very unique in terms of every site's different. So that part of it can be difficult sometimes, but the methodology is pretty much the same for us, based on experience, without a doubt.
Yeah, there's a lot of problem-seeking, problem-solving. There's so many different factors that you have to think about. It's not just getting cargo from A to B. There's, like Vinny was touched upon, the, remote locations, and then you've got the weather systems, and then you've got the political aspect of the different countries, and there's so many different things you've got to think about.
Imagine communication too between
communication,
Massive.
costs.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
It's interesting. A lot of the same. We have faced a lot of the same challenges. I think dealing with a lot of, I guess, the end user being the same persona in a lot of times, and sort of, we see that even from an inquiry point of view from a different country, like you touched on, language barriers, cultural barriers, and things like that, trying to understand what they need, and then being able to develop a solution from there. And I think a big one for us as well is the whole downtime thing, and I'm sure you probably face it as well. Like when the mining clients face the prospect of potential downtime, that's often millions and millions of dollars.
Definitely.
And I'm sure you guys face situations where they're like, we kind of need this yesterday. I'm
All
sure
the time.
I'm sure that's something you guys face a lot. And I guess linking that to our ROX brand in a lot of ways, that's what that's what a lot of that is about, isn't it? Like eliminating downtime and having stuff stocked and ready to move. And I think that being able to solve those challenges is a huge win. And if you can be someone like you guys are, who can solve those problems time and time again, it's easy wins, you know.
Certainly the response time, availability, like being available, middle of the night, those type of things.
Yep.
When someone's ringing you directly from site,
Yep.
they haven't got a certain part, invariably that makes a big difference.
Yeah,
You know, especially
you
when
find
you're dealing-
yourselves available. You find yourselves answering those calls sometimes as well.
Most
All
of the
the
time,
time.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, for us,
Yeah.
it's our reputation, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to be fairly dedicated to do it, but
Yeah.
the rewards are massive, right?
Yep.
Because generally, then the client sort of knows you care. There's a care factor of picking up the phone at 2:00 in the morning and not just snoozing it and
Yeah.
ignoring the phone call and dealing with it in the morning. So once they get someone that they know is going to pick up that phone and has that care factor, then you're sort of locked in that client, right?
Yeah,
in terms
definitely.
of
You
just the
make
way
that
that you,
impression.
the impression that you've made with them and the trust and rapport that you build from that, right? So,
Yeah.
of course, it's all about getting the parts to the location. I mean, picking up the phone is one thing, but then delivering on that as well, that's the next step. So for us, it's critical. Reputation is pretty much everything in our business.
Yeah, we find the same, and even from a point of view of like being available, like, you know, even from I've had times on weekends and in the middle of the night, like even from a website chat, like we both run that website chat. It's not like a bot or something like that. And I've had that chat go off at all times of night, and I
Yeah.
wake up and answer it because
Yeah.
someone needs something in the morning.
Definitely.
Or someone wants to inquire about something for a shutdown or something like that, or they've been delivered something that they need install instructions for or something like that. But the times when you kind of go, hang on a second, snap out of whatever state you're in, and sort that customer out. Again, reputation's a huge thing, and it's kind of like, I think reputation from our side, and I guess you're speaking from your sides, but like reputation from the client, they're obviously
Yes.
under pressure from, you know, whoever it is, their superintendent, their supervisor, to sort out a problem. So if you can enhance their reputation to their people, it's just the win just compounds. You know what I mean? And I think if you can be someone who can be like sort of the catalyst in that success, I think it's a big deal.
It certainly is, yeah. Especially with the different time zones too, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
we're quite unique in Perth. We cover quite a bit, you know, in terms of our East Coast time zone, and then a lot of Europe for probably 25% of the day, Africa as well. So sort of our 3:00 is sort of their time where they're just starting. So you sort of are online for those 2 to 3 hours, where you get a little bit of coverage, whereas other different time zones you don't. But yeah, certainly being responsive is the number one.
Have you put in some form of like systems or technology in place to really help you guys sort of, you know, maintain that communication with the clients?
Yeah, ours is run through our operating system. So we've on Lodgeman, so we've got a full track and trace sort of system where we can basically from a PO level, SKU level, where the customer can basically see where their cargo is, and then within that program we can actually speak with them. So it's sort of what you guys are talking.
Yep.
It's like a live chat
Yep.
almost, right? So they can ask us questions directly from that particular shipment, and it'll reference the shipment so we know exactly what they're talking about. Then we can go back and answer them at the same time, which Sarah deals a lot with that, with the client services role, right? So that visibility is key for them.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
really
having
handy, like
information.
live tracking, so they can be out and about and they can just have a look where their cargo is, and yeah, they find it really beneficial. So that's been good to have, really handy.
Yeah, and that's exploded, I think, in the last 3 to 4 years, right? In terms of client visibility has just become so critical, and it's sort of opened you up too, right? In terms of being held accountable. Very hard to lie when you've got live track and trace now, and cover yourself up, right? Which used to be an old game. A lot of people used to play, but now there's just nowhere to hide.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all
everything
like
is live
GPS
online.
tracked, and it's like there
Literally.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
the marine vessel traffic. So that it's really good.
What is sort of, I guess, speaking about some of the different countries you guys sort of service and things like that, I guess I'll ask the question to both of you, like what's sort of a really interesting, I guess, problem you've faced and solved, you know, from, I don't know, whether it's an exotic location or, you know, a critical part, sort of, what can you give us from that?
From that perspective, for me personally, Mongolia has always been a challenge for well, not a challenge, we're pretty much experts in it now, right? So it's always trying to get it through a landlocked country via like 3 different sort of language barriers too, like you were saying, languages before, right? So it could come out of Australia, the States, it goes through China, then through China into Mongolia, it'll go via ship wherever from origin, then into China, then on rail or truck from there through to Mongolia. So you're dealing with the 3 different languages that involves, then there's different customs requirements in the country. So, in Mongolia, a lot of it's got to be translated to Russian because there's sort of split between the Russian
it's an
influence
interesting spot, right
and
there.
the Chinese influence, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very sort of unique spot where you're sort of landlocked between 2 giants. And just getting things in and out of there has just always been a challenge, but over the 15 odd years that we've been doing it, we're pretty much experts at it now. And then getting time critical in there is pretty challenging because it's just, unless you can fly it in there, there's no other real way. If it's big and it's got to go via ocean and then on road, then that can become pretty tricky because the infrastructure too is somewhat lacking sometimes.
Yep.
Well, we just sort of think of normal roads, normal bitumen, but that's certainly not the case when you're in those sort of remote locations. So we have the same sort of experience in Africa when you're dealing with going through remote locations, going past different tribes, those type of things. There's security concerns that evolved in that. You would have seen over the years, there's been a large number of kidnappings and all those type of things that happen as well. So it's it's pretty tricky.
Do you guys get to get out to these places much yourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. I've done a lot of travelling through Airland. My last stint, I spent the last sort of 5 years that I did with Airland pretty much travelling all through Southeast Asia, Mongolia, Africa, those sort of regions. So it's one of the things we sort of do. It's what goes back into the whole buy-in with the customer. It's like if you're prepared to jump on a plane or a boat or a ship and get to their location, then it just shows how invested you are into doing a good job for them. So where we can, we like to get to site and meet on their turf and talk their language, and it just shows a bit of commitment too, right? That you're actually willing to make the trek.
Well, that's where we do the exact same thing. Hey, like we've always got guys on site sending them. I mean, one of our team, Lucho, is going to be heading to Mongolia. Looks like early next year now.
Yeah,
he was meant to be there now.
Yeah.
But again, just given the landscape and like I guess I think they had a shutdown or something, and then things kind of changed. They can't sort of pivot on a dime like maybe a site in Australia can. Yeah, even they can't. But yeah, we've had guys. We're all around Australia, and we're looking to kind of grow further beyond and spread our kind of geographical reach with what we do.
Yeah.
But I think that whole boots on the ground sort of understanding like face to face what's going on, whether it's a transport or logistical issue like you guys face or a safety or an efficiency issue. For us, it's all kind of the same thing. When you're there, you kind of the buy-in's immediately much more evident. You get
a bit of appreciation too. For us, it's super important in terms of travelling the route the trucks go, right? So then we understand how to pack cargo, what the complexities are in terms of that, what type of road it's got to travel on, what avenues you sort of have into that space. So it makes a massive difference. And then you get to meet the cultures too, right? And the cultures are crazy, right? So I mean, you go into some of these remote locations, you get to experience a culture, meet all these different type of ethnicities, the history that's involved with where they are, what they've been, all that type of stuff. So it's pretty good.
No, it sounds
pretty crazy.
It does sound crazy, and I bet you it gets crazy. But it's
super
interesting
fun.
though.
Fun and exciting, man.
What's your favourite places?
For me, Mongolia is always close to my heart because I've been there about 4 or 5 times. Laos is another one that's close to me. Purely because I've been going up there for a long, long time. And that's different again in Vietnam as well because there's a massive French influence in those regions.
There is.
Of course. Yeah. And then they had the Vietnam War there, so that's massive. You sort of see what's actually happened. They've still got signs in terms of live explosives floating around Laos and some of these remote locations, same in Vietnam. So you can see the impact of war that's sort of happened on those sort of countries and how how it shaped them, moulded the people that are there, why they have the attitudes they have.
Yeah, Vietnam's beautiful. It's a great
beautiful
place
spot.
to be.
Yeah, beautiful spot.
It is.
And the food, the culture is just,
the food, that's great.
Fantastic. Man.
It is.
It really is.
How about your same sort of question to you, Sarah, that we sort of that Vinny answered there for us around what's been the most interesting sort of scenario that you've sort of faced and sort of solved?
Oh, there's been a few. I can't even think of one off the top of my head now. But there's always something. There's always issues, and we're always problem solving. But yeah, one of my favourite places I went to was Cambodia. That was a really good place to go. Yeah.
Yeah, Cambodia. Have you been to Cambodia?
No, I haven't.
That was.
It's right next to Vietnam there.
Yeah, I went to Vietnam this year.
We went,
didn't we?
pretty much.
Yeah,
at the
pretty
same
much back
time.
to back. Hey.
Yeah, stayed on a little island, Phu Quoc. Just
Oh, wow,
just
nice.
yeah, that's a beautiful little island. Yeah,
For holiday or for work?
Yeah, holiday.
Holiday.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
cool.
I went to Jakarta last year for work
Mhm.
for big Jakarta mining show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you find it, Jakarta?
Oh,
It's pretty crazy.
It's pretty. I thought like when we were. I don't know how we didn't have a car accident. Like me and one of the guys, Jacob, who's moved on from us now, but we were there with Jim, our CEO, and we were sitting in the taxi and we were just like looking like this. It was just I just don't know how we didn't have at least 15 accidents.
Traffic is so bad.
Oh, the traffic! I was just like, thank goodness I'm not driving here because this is wild.
it's good
Yeah.
fun.
And then it's
good fun.
I did a lot of scooter riding in
Yeah,
Phu Quoc,
yeah.
which was, and I got right amongst like the central city, and I got real confident by the end. And after when I sent the scooter back from hire, I was like, that was so rogue. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
driving
Like,
on the opposite side as
yeah,
well.
all
in
the American
Vietnam.
rules,
Yeah.
and just like, and eventually you just mold in and have to start cutting in front of people because
to.
like they don't wait for you.
No
Like
way.
you got to go if you want to go.
You got to push your way through.
Part
it
of their
otherwise,
system.
yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
definitely.
That's my idea of hell.
It was wild.
No,
hey.
I'm
But
joking.
yeah, this is how you have to get around.
It takes a bit of time getting used to. We've got partners up there, and the first thing that struck me about going there is that they've all got drivers, so they don't drive themselves. And I'm like, well, you just don't like to drive? I go, no, if we're driving, then we can't work.
Yeah.
So because they're always on their phones, they're always
Yeah,
sending
sure.
emails, they're taking phone calls, conference calls, all that type of stuff. Because if we sit in traffic and actually drive physically ourselves, then that's 4 or 5 hours out of the day.
Yep.
Like I went there to do appointments and meet other suppliers and stuff. We could only do maybe 2 appointments in a day, 3 if you're lucky, if they were in the same area.
Yeah, wow.
Because to get to one side to the other side in Jakarta, just forget about it.
Yeah.
You're 2.5 hours in traffic each way, and
Yep.
it's just
Yeah.
mental. Reminded me of India actually. It's very similar there too. It's crazy.
How the families get around is like hilarious too. Like I remember you see a motorbike cruise past the taxi,
Yeah.
and you got like dad driving, like mum on
That's
the
right.
back, like a kid hold
In
on
the
to
middle.
dad,
Yeah.
and then like a
Kid up.
newborn like snoozing like on mum's
Yeah.
shoulder.
No
Just like
helmets.
no helmets, just like
Yeah.
just cruising down
It's
the street.
crazy,
It's
right?
just like imagine. I was just thinking, imagine seeing that in Fremantle or something.
Yeah.
Like a full family of
That's
like
right.
6 on a little motorbike.
We
Like,
take it for granted the way we live, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Hey, it's just
Different world.
or just like stuff stacked like piles high, like strapped down to the back of the bike. You have no idea how they're actually keeping it upright.
Yeah.
Yeah, even when they're
Wild.
transporting things. Vietnam was a bit like that. I'd see like plasma TVs on the back of a bike, 42
Yeah.
inch, and it's in the box, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah, just
strapped to
pick
the
that
back
up.
of the
Yeah.
strapped to the back of the motorcycle, like taking it home.
But it was an interesting place, and I guess the mining show was great to see there, and there was a lot of expats actually interesting. Like there was a fair few Aussie guys we spoke to.
In Jakarta,
Yeah,
there's quite a few that go to that one.
yeah, that were working there and had been there for 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And sort of worked for like Westtrack or something here,
Mhm.
and then transferred over to work over there. And but it was great to to start forming some relationships there at least. There's some big mining hubs there.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a
So
good place.
yeah,
And the people are nice. I find the people nice in Indonesia. They're quite relaxed
Beautiful
and
people.
laid back, and
Yep.
yeah,
nothing stresses them out too much. They're
Yep.
quite.
yeah. That's it. No, it was good. It was good. It was good to get, and I did a few. Last year was big for me for work travel. I did Sydney. I did because we did some defence shows and stuff as well. We did like Land Forces and Indo-Pacific for
Yeah,
defence.
okay, nice. Yep.
What
was it like?
Those shows are wild.
Was it good?
eh?
Yeah. When you compare them with a mining sort of show, they were.
Yeah, well, I guess it's just like so much different to what we're used to seeing from there's full tanks there and
Yeah,
it's all
right.
weapons.
Wow.
And, like there's protesting and
Yeah, right.
Jeepers, that's
there was a lot of that
pretty
kind of
full on.
stuff going. Yeah, it was full on. It was full on. It was pretty confronting in some ways, but I guess we were just there to sell safety, and understand the way that we can transfer our capabilities into a different market, trying to
Right.
diversify. But some of the stuff you see there is so impressive.
Defence, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there was a big Army, Navy Air Force presence and stuff, which was great as well. And again, a lot of political presence and stuff too, which was good to understand and sort of be involved in a little bit as well. But
That'd be very interesting.
yeah, we had a pretty big stand at Land Forces, and then we were part of the Defence West stand for Indo-Pac. And then we went along to Avalon as well, which is the air one. That was great. Like some of the stuff we saw there, like the air shows and stuff they did. Man, just planes cruising across, like F-35s, I think they were, and then just stopping and just
really?
like
Wow.
right up into the air, doing tricks and things like that. It was mind blowing to see.
That'd be pretty trippy.
Yeah, and it was
Love to see
mind blowing
that.
to see. You just look at them. They just got obviously made of different stuff. The people that do that, hey, they're just absolutely
Oh
wild.
yeah,
Sure.
I think the mining shows maybe need to step it up a notch to get it to that level. I mean, they're pretty cool, but there's there's some pretty awesome trucks and equipment going around.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
it'd be cool to get a couple of them on and give us a little show.
Get a 793 pinging down Kwinana Freeway or something on the way in.
More money in defence than there is in mining, I suppose, right?
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a completely
crazy.
different game though. Hey, like I guess from a purchasing point of view and things.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, so that's something that we've kind of been trying to navigate as a business as well. Diversifying a little bit, and the way they sort of go about procuring goods and services is so much different to mining.
I'd imagine be a lot of compliance, right? If you're dealing with government departments or that type
Absolutely.
of stuff, and
Yeah,
having
really
to-
extensive compliance. It's like, ISO times 1,000. A
Yeah,
lot of
okay.
it, and luckily we've been able to kind of sort of start getting through a lot of that stuff with some of the amazing people we got working here behind the scenes that are involved in that.
Yeah, I've heard the process takes a bit of time, right? It's not something you can just become an accredited supplier to provide for these.
Yeah, well, I guess it
defence
just
contracts.
depends on how sensitive the project is too.
Yeah, true.
And what you're doing, and what the end result is of what you're doing. It might be something that seems relatively innocuous, at face value, but it could be part of something much bigger. So that kind of the acceptance of that as well is a big part of kind of that sort of foray into that area.
I see you guys get around to quite a few trade shows, mining shows yourselves.
Yep.
What are some of the latest shows that, I guess, this year so far you've been to?
Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney.
Yep.
We went to, obviously the local one here. We rocked up there to Convention Centre. I was supposed to go to Brisbane wasn't really mining related. It was one of the drilling guys,
Right.
but I didn't end up going. But I heard the turnout was pretty good. We wanted to go to Indonesia, but didn't quite make that one as well. We had a couple of other projects on. I think next year is going to be... This year we sort of kept it local. Normally we've done Jakarta before. We've been to Mongolia before. We normally do Canada as well with PDAC. We normally do the big one in South Africa as well.
Yep.
That's sort of annual for us. But of course, since the whole pandemic and all that sort of stuff, we haven't really... had a big presence there. We've sort of sent our South African office to the one in Africa. We've sent the guys in Canada to ones at PDAC. So,
Sure.
but normally we have 2 or 3 people that go from here, and as well as our European office as well. So I think we'll look to do that a bit more in 2024.
Yep.
Get back to meeting and greeting people.
Well, that's
good.
that's how we ended up here, didn't we?
That's right. That's where we met. Exactly.
So down at Amex a couple of months ago, and
That's right.
we actually we had the ROX brand launch, and it was a pretty funny story because we sent out the message to
That's right.
quite a few people that we were doing an official launch at 1 p.m. And we didn't know what to expect with the amount of people who
That's
were going to
right.
rock up, but as it hit 1 o'clock, we had Vinny and Sarah.
Number one supporters.
Big supporters, we were there.
I had to
Absolutely.
go over, just please give us 10 more minutes. I'm going to go around and try and get a few more
Yeah.
people around. And so that was awesome that you guys stuck around. And
No, it's cool.
and,
No, it was good to watch. So.
It's pretty daunting doing that though, right? I mean,
It was,
public
yeah.
speaking is one thing, and then amongst a crowd that big,
Yeah.
and then I really do admire you guys the way you sort of tried to rev the crowd up, get them involved, get them going, create a bit of buzz.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
no one was doing it, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
was something a little bit out of the box for a mining show, which is good.
Yeah, got the big boom box out and
Yeah, absolutely.
it gave away some of the merch and it is a nervous thing doing that, but it's good fun and it's cool
Absolutely.
that
It's
you guys
rewarding.
stuck around for
No,
it.
Yeah, that's what
Absolutely.
makes those things hard. Hey, I guess when there's not like it's live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Oh, definitely.
if no one's there, it's like you know, it'd be like being a comedian or something. You come on to do your show,
Yeah.
and there's no one there.
Yeah.
It-
It's
but-
like,
Yeah, it's like, ooh. Yeah.
That's
What
all
have I
good.
done?
good start.
yeah, that's it. Like all the preparations all for nothing. But
Yeah.
Certainly.
I think no, that you did as I've touched on in before episodes. I think you did a wicked job of that trade show. It looked really impressive.
Yeah,
I
you
think
did a great job.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's really impressive.
It's, there's a lot that goes into those shows, not just from, marketing, but there's everyone outside. It's
Absolutely.
massive team effort for those shows especially to exhibit at, and
Definitely.
it's good fun though. It is really good fun.
Yeah, you got to stand out from the crowd too, right? I mean, they can get a bit boring.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
No one really classes mining. It's exciting, shall we say? So,
Mm.
the more I suppose unique you can make it, diverse you can make it, then I think it's good.
I think there's definitely a gap there with like trade shows and events to kind of evolve a little bit.
Mhm.
I think like for the
think so.
last few years, it's kind of, I don't know, just there's something that just seems very much like about them. It's like, okay, cool, we've got to stand, and then people walk around, and then 4 o'clock comes, and everyone drinks beer.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
and then
That's what
you know
most
what I
people
mean?
are
And
there
then
for.
there's- and there's in the lead up, you get invited to about 7 dinners.
Dinners,
and like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think there's scope to do something
Yeah.
different.
Different.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They need to mix it up. They do.
Yeah, they need to mix it up. I don't know, get some fireworks or something.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, like halftime show or something.
We need a 793F. The
Yeah,
next
yeah.
train show
That's
down
right.
down
on
the
the
road,
freeway.
down the freeway.
Yeah, a little bit of
Well, I'm
outdoor
excited
exhibition.
to see the next show then. You guys are planning
yeah,
something.
Yeah, we need to organise something. I
Yeah.
reckon.
Maybe if they crush something or break something, that always helps.
Yeah,
Exactly.
When you destroy things.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what made the Avalon Air Show so cool. Was there was like the air shows were going on
Yeah.
the whole time.
Same time, yeah, exactly.
So you can sort of separate from the actual business side of things and go watch some genuinely impressive aircraft do what they do best, and it's just like it was wicked to see.
Yeah, I could
So
imagine. That'd be
if
awesome.
I think I do think there's scope there to evolve the old trade show.
See what we can do.
A little bit.
Yeah, we might have to do our
Shake
own,
it up,
man.
guys. Shake
You
it up.
and me next
yeah,
year.
the
I
Rocks
reckon
mining show.
Yeah.
Hey, there's
I
something.
think
might be
definitely do a
something
live
there.
podcast. I would definitely do a live podcast from there next time.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's
You
not
know
a
what I
bad
mean?
call.
Yeah,
It's
man.
not a bad call.
Yeah, 100%.
Just have guests
Bring the
rocking
kit
in
to
and out.
QME.
Yeah, just have people just rolling.
Yeah,
in,
roll
just-
in, roll out.
That's it.
There you
I
go.
reckon that'll be good.
Got it.
A little bit different,
Here we go. Here we go. It's all happening.
Yeah, this is
Exactly.
it. This is it.
What about obviously we've talked a lot about I guess work and business and things like that, and like I'd like to make this a bit about you guys as well. Sort of what's some stuff you sort of like to get into in your spare time? Obviously you're a passionate member of the Airland team, but
Yeah.
what about Vinny outside of work?
Pretty much family, man. Family sports is pretty much my go.
Yep.
Massive, a Kiwi originally, so a massive rugby fan, which we won't talk about that this year, but that was pretty hard to get over, the Rugby World Cup,
Yep.
especially into South Africa. So,
Yep.
but yeah, sports, kids, my kids are older now, so I was telling you before, one of my daughters is getting married, so, and then I got a set of twins, boy and a girl, so pretty much family time. They're going through university, supporting them through that sort of journey.
Yep.
Love to travel, love to get out and enjoy as many restaurants as I can.
Yep.
Find a bit of fine dining and nice different types of foods. I'm into that sort of stuff as well. So,
What's your favourite restaurant in Perth at the moment?
ooh, as a local, just up because I'm way up north, Iluka Tavern. Bit of a plug for Iluka
That's
Tavern
a
if anyone hears
beautiful-
that.
Yeah, you
That
might
is a
get a
good
bunch of
place.
any.
It's not a bad place, man. It's not a bad place. They got a mean steak sandwich.
They do, yeah.
I love steak
beef
sandwiches.
sandwich. So I was just there last night. So that's sort of my local. Other than that, I used to enjoy rock pool. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I've been
For
there.
some sort of like monumentous event type sort of setup.
yeah.
So if you're celebrating something really good, then that was quite nice. But my daughter's, what did she tell me last week? Gin and tonic, I think, in Fremantle.
That is wicked.
That's pretty cool. She was saying. So
I went there for
I
my
want to go
mum's
check that out.
birthday.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, tonic and ginger.
A
is
tonic
that
and
the one?
ginger.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
gin and tonic.
Yeah, I think that's
Alcohol in the brain.
that's a must. That's a must visit.
Yeah, that's
So
what
good.
she tells me.
good.
So good.
It's so good.
Yeah, the
I-
decor and all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
is pretty
just
cool.
yeah, it's wicked, old school heritage listed building there.
Love it.
But the food is just unreal.
Yeah, okay.
It's just unreal.
A bit of a fusion or something she was saying, yeah? So
Yeah,
topper.
it is.
Yeah,
It
nice.
is. It's just, but just some of the flavors is not good. Not yeah, you can't explain it with words. It's unbelievable. So
gotta
that's
go.
definitely
Gotta
a
check that
must
out.
visit.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Really good there.
What about yourself, Sarah?
Well, I've got 2 teenage girls, so that's quite the ride at the moment.
Yeah.
And just same as Vinny, really traveling. Love to travel. I love swimming, gym,
Yep.
walking. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
What about yourselves? What about you guys? What do you guys get into outside of work, outside of ROX and the podcast? And
Yeah, well, I'm into lots of running and training as well.
yeah, nice.
And golf. Golf's a big. We talk a lot about golf.
on this podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so golf's I was a big golfer in high school.
Okay.
And I sort of gotten back into it over the last couple of years. So that's a big focus of mine at the moment. Is playing lots of golf.
Yeah.
Playing a
Getting
bit
the
of golf
handicap
tomorrow.
down. What do you plan off?
Oh, I don't really have a handicap at the moment. I'd probably be around high single figures, I reckon,
Okay,
right
that's
now.
good.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
impressive.
was low single figures in high school.
Okay.
But yeah, we'd both be around.
Yeah,
high
the last, if
single
you average
figures.
the last 10 rounds out, I'd give us,
Yeah,
around
8 or
that.
9.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, no, it's been, we're playing a fair bit.
And where do you guys normally play?
Oh, everywhere we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just kind of
Keep it
like
different.
to
Collier, Wembley.
Yep.
Love to get out to Araloon.
Oh yeah.
Araloon's a
Yeah,
nice
that's
Yeah, I've
course.
heard
So
that's a
nice
nice
up
course.
there.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah,
played there
just
before.
visually it's wicked. They've got
Yeah,
some
it is
really
nice.
nice holes there.
Yeah, out at the
Um,
Vines and
Yep. Anywhere we can really.
yeah, that's it.
Just collecting ball markers from the pro shops around WA.
WA.
That's your
Nice.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing. But I love food too. I love cooking and things.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, I do a lot of that, family and friends and stuff. But that's about it. Keep it pretty simple and just I do enjoy my job and enjoy doing all of this kind of thing, and got some personal projects I'm kind of looking to release in the next couple of months as well. So we'll stay tuned for that.
Nice.
Involving the Marin here with some of that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much me, man.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Sport, love my footy, indoor cricket, golf, and hanging out, watching movies, eating at nice restaurants, and staying fit, running,
Yeah.
all of that, and get it coming down to work as well. We're doing a lot of fun stuff here, so
Yeah, good.
that's pretty much how I keep myself busy.
Nice.
Well, I think that's probably a good note to finish on, guys. Thanks again for coming down. Early stages of this podcast, and it's really cool and really nice to have some people come and support us and be a part of it early on, rather than just listening to me and Jake all the time.
Our pleasure.
So, look, like I said, thanks very much again. I hope you enjoyed yourselves.
Did
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no,
That's good.
it's been great. So, we'll wrap it up there, everyone. Thanks for tuning into episode number 4 of the Breaking ROX podcast. And we'll see you all next time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.